Hey, Gregory here from Bella Marca Studio, and we're all keeping busy just trying to keep up with our goals for the year, which a lot of times includes website updates, a brand refresh, and new marketing tools, all of which require bringing on a graphic designer. And you know that icky feeling you get right before you have to hire somebody? You know that I don't know if they're really all that, maybe they exaggerated on their website type feeling? Well, believe me when I say you're not the only one out there who's hoping and praying that they make the right decision, especially when it comes to a designer. So, if you're in the market for a graphic designer that's going to get your designs just right and really help you attract your ideal customers and clients, then here are 4 qualities you need to look out for. So, the 4 must-have qualities to look for when hiring a graphic designer. Here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn the 4 P's of the ideal graphic designer, the warning signs of a non-professional designer, streamlined workflows that designers should have to keep their process appealing, and how to play your part as a client to keep things running smoothly. So, the 4 P's of the ideal graphic designer. Number 1, personality. A graphic designer needs to be super friendly and personable. Being personable means that they're kind, lighthearted, and relaxed. So the vibe is always light, and you rarely feel a tense moment when speaking with them. They know how to find the perfect balance between a respectful associate and a friend. So it's a good sign if the candidate is open to meeting with you in person or over video chat. In fact, they should encourage it because their goal should be to make sure that you both have an opportunity to get to know one another and that you feel like the partnership will be a good fit. So they need to make you feel at ease, reminding you that this is a team effort and that they're a team player. So the ideal graphic designer is also going to have great attentiveness, meaning they'll always be seeking out ways to be in contact with you and making sure that you're pleased with the progress so far. Now, this doesn't mean that they'll be available 24/7 to take your call or email, but they will make sure that you can reach them easily during their office hours. So the ideal graphic designer will also view your feedback in a balanced way. While there's no place for rudeness in a professional setting, a client should always be honest. The graphic designer should respect your views on their work and make reasonable adjustments to satisfy your needs. All right, personality warning signs. If a potential candidate does not want to take the time to talk to you in person or over the phone, this isn't a good sign. I'll be honest, talking over the phone isn't always my favorite thing, especially if a client is calling multiple times a day. However, especially at the beginning of the project, a graphic designer should be doing all they can to allow you to get to know them and to answer any of your questions. Also, if the graphic designer is overly sensitive when you're giving them feedback with no interest in providing you with revisions or seeking alternative routes to provide you with a solution, then this might not be a partnership worth considering. Okay, the 2 P of the ideal graphic designer is professionalism. Of course, your potential candidate needs to be professional. It's so annoying to deal with someone who isn't. A professional graphic designer is going to be organized. Typically, they'd have almost all the information you would need to know about working with them already ready for you when you guys set up a meeting in person or over video chat. This information would include office hours, general pricing, frequently asked questions, or at least answers already prepared for your anticipated questions, and a clear list of what you'll receive from them and what they'll need to receive from you. A professional candidate will be clear on a potential timeline for your project. While no timeline is perfect and a good client will be understanding, a good graphic designer will make an effort to clearly lay out a timeline along with checkpoints of when certain parts of the project will be completed. A good graphic designer will offer you a contract for you to sign before the project begins. Now, this contract will include your agreed upon price for the project, the payment schedule, the deliverables that they've agreed to provide you with, along with clearly explaining your responsibilities as a client. Now, while a contract is sometimes annoying, it shows that your designer wants to be on the same page as you every step of the way and that they plan on holding up to their end of the partnership. Instead of just texting you or emailing you the project cost off the top of their head, a professional designer will take the time to send you an official quote with a breakdown of their pricing. Once you accept the quote, you should receive an invoice which clearly states when payment is due and what forms of payment that the designer accepts. So, warning signs of a non-professional. So be on guard if a potential candidate cannot give you a concrete idea of when the project will be completed. If they're giving you the runaround or pushing the end date back more than once or twice, things aren't looking good. Also, if there's no contract to sign, keep it moving, girl. This means that the graphic designer can flip the script on you at any time with no obligation to ever deliver what you paid for. The third P of the ideal graphic designer is propriety. Sometimes things aren't always black and white, and when they're not, we would hope that someone would use good morals and all fairness to make decisions. So you'll want to hire a designer that cherishes propriety, using consideration to make decisions in your best interest. So in graphic design, you'll hear the term intellectual property, which in this case means the designs that someone has the rights to. So the question is, who has the rights to the designs when the project is done? Well, surely there's different opinions on this matter, but here's one approach. The designer can grant the client rights and ownership to the intellectual property, or the final designs, which allows the client to do whatever they want with the designs moving forward. However, the designer will retain the rights to publish and display the final designs for marketing, promotional purposes, or portfolio use as the original author of the work. All of this would be stated in the contract and would allow both of the parties to benefit from the work created long after the project is completed. Also, when it comes to delivering designs, a potential client could need them in more than one format. A considerate designer will understand this need and automatically provide you with your designs in various file formats and sizes, along with instructions on how to use them so that they can be implemented effectively. Signs that there's a lack of propriety. If your potential candidate seems to only be looking out for themselves, watch out. If the contract isn't clearly stating what it is that you get to walk away with the rights to, then you may want to think twice about signing it. Also, if your designer is too lazy to provide you with the design files and with your designs saved out in different files, then you can probably be sure that not a lot of effort will be put into the initial designs anyways. And finally, the final of the 4 P's of the ideal graphic designer is the portfolio. You all can guess that one of the most important things to consider when hiring a graphic designer is their portfolio. This is where the designer shows off their best work and what they're capable of. Starting off, you definitely want to look for the creativity in the designer's portfolio. Ask yourself this: does their work look like everyone else's, or is it unique? Are they just following the current trends, or do they have their own style? Do they plan on presenting a number of initial designs, or just 1 or 2? These questions will help you gauge the outcome of your project. Now, next, consider versatility. If you see a variety of projects displayed, versatility is a good thing. Now, we certainly respect designers who have a niche and stick to it. However, if you're looking for a designer long-term to handle several design needs, then you want to see all aspects of their skill set. Also, pay attention to the potential candidate's expertise. When you ask them questions about the design process or ask them their opinion on how a certain design will affect your brand, their answers will play a big part in determining if they know what they're talking about. So look for experience in areas like logo design, typography, color psychology, web design, branding, and print design. Also, a good designer will have some sort of testimonials page or reviews page on their site. Read those carefully and don't hesitate to ask more about how a specific client enjoyed working with them. Side point, if you'd like to learn more on how to easily get testimonials without begging, then feel free to click into my profile and then you'll see another video that I did on some excellent tips on getting testimonials. So a portfolio that only has pictures isn't bad. It's definitely a dated way of doing things though. It's nice when a graphic designer writes case studies to go along with the projects in their portfolio. That way you can understand their expertise behind why they made certain decisions and how they went about completing the project. And it isn't terrible if they don't have a lot to display in their portfolio. They may have trimmed it down recently to just show their most polished and relevant work. It's more important to you to focus on the details they share and how much work and effort went into the project. All right, so signs that they have no skills. Stay clear of designers who only like to do one type of project that all end up looking the same. If they're not able to give any clear reasoning behind their design choices or what direction they see for your project, then you should head the other way. If your candidate doesn't have any sort of testimonials displayed on their portfolio, this could potentially mean that they haven't gotten any good feedback from past clients. Don't hesitate to ask them what others thought about their work ethic. So, a designer's workflow template. Would you like to take a peek at my very own design process and workflow? So, the design process that clients go through when working with Bella Marca Studio is broken down into 4 stages. The homework stage, the designing stage that involves branding and print design, the designing stage that involves website design, and also the farewell stage. The homework stage. So once the client fills out the inquiry form and receives my welcome email, we'll schedule their brainstorming session, which is typically a phone call or Skype call, and discuss their ideas for the project. Now, once the project is scheduled, the contract is signed, and there's receipt of the down payment from the client. Then they'll be given some client homework to complete, which this includes gathering all of their content for their brand materials and website. And we'll have a strategy session, which will be like another phone call or Skype call to make sure that we're on the same page regarding their content. So in the designing stage for branding and print design, we'll start to put together their visual brand, which will be made up of their Pinterest-inspired mood board, custom color palette and set of logos, all coming together into their cohesive brand style guide. Then we'll design the matching print collateral that they chose as the most useful for their business. Then in the designing stage for website design, we'll start with a wireframe or outline of their website and design from there. All website content, which would include their business info and their images, it's going to need to be provided in their client homework before the designing stages begin. So they'll be introduced to their website platform in this stage. And then the farewell stage. So this is the finishing touches. The site will be complete and the site ownership will be transferred to the client. Their final design files and instructions for use will be provided to them. And in our client closing session, which is going to be like a screen share call, then I'll show them how to navigate the back end of their new site, how to make simple updates, and answer any remaining questions that they have regarding the design of their new brand. So then I follow my streamlined process of collecting feedback from them, which I have an automated process, like I mentioned, to turn their feedback into a testimonial. So feel free to go and check out that video. So if you would like to learn more about this process, then go ahead and click on my profile or visit my website as shown there in the bottom corner of the slide. So, quick tips for being a good client. So, the spotlight is now on you. Always remember that it takes two to tango. If you want a positive experience with a new designer, then you'll have to play your part. Make sure that you're clear on when your invoices are due. Any delay in paying your invoices will just cause your project to run longer than desired, so pay on time. Make sure that you're clear on your responsibilities. So if you have files to upload to the designer, such as images or written copy, remember to submit those on time and to the desired location, whether that's Dropbox or Google Drive, etc., so that the designer has what he or she needs to get started. Try to only contact your designer during their business hours so that your concerns can be addressed when your designer is in the right mind frame. Nothing would irritate them more than calling them at 2:00 in the morning. And thoroughly write out your design needs and preferences, or fill out any assigned questionnaires thoroughly so that your designer can clearly understand your desired outcome and you'll be left feeling as happy as possible. So that's everything. You guys are now ready to hire your next designer without any worries. So if you'd like to learn more about my design process and would like to set up a free brainstorming session with me, then feel free to contact me through my website shown there on the slide. Take care, guys.